What's going on, guys? Play-by-play gaming here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're taking a look at the patch balance update coming on October 28th, so at the end of October, and we got my boy Mediator Kawerik is finally getting his buffs, so hopefully they're good. We got Ada on here, Yufine's getting buffs, Bloodblade Karin, BBK, and Zealot Carmainerose. Black Hand of the Goddess Artifact, and Shepards of Chaos. So Mediator Kawerik, it looks like he's getting his own increase in combat readiness by 10%, up to 15% max when he goes with his S1. So instead of also pushing up the caster with the highest combat readiness by up to 15%, now he's also pushing up himself, which I think is kind of nice. It's a decent addition to it. I think it would have been better if he like dispelled a buff or debuff or something like that. I don't know, to keep him along with the cleanser mode. Balance of power. So this one attacks the enemy with a mediator's power, dispelling all buffs. This is the one where he put up the barrier, right? His S2. So now he strips all buffs before decreasing attack for 2 turns. But the thing about this is it's still a one target skill, right? So you're just going on one unit, you're stripping them, and then you're putting attack break on them. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's that great. Damage and barrier strength has been increased. So I don't know by how much. Maybe this is something that we can test out. Nature's Restoration. So his S3, this is the one that it restores balance, dispelling all debuffs. So it's a full cleanse, and it increases everybody. It's an AoE attack up for 2 turns. So what it does now is actually increase combat readiness of the caster by 50%. When this skill is available at the start of the turn, decreases debuff duration of the caster by 1 turn. So at the beginning of the game, someone opens up on you, strips you, hits you with a debuff. He's going to be able to reduce the cooldown or reduce the debuff by 1 turn. So I mean, if it's a 2-turn debuff, then I mean you're still kind of you're in a bad spot. But if it's a 1-turn debuff, then you should be good. He's gonna get his turn, right? So put him on immunity. You get stripped, you get debuffed. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because I'm still thinking it's AOL, right? AOL is still there, but I mean, you're getting another CR push, which is, I think, is kind of nice, increasing combat readiness the caster by 50% after you do your S3. So it's kind of interesting. I think that I don't know, this might make him a bit more usable now, because he has like a built-in semi-cleanse, right? And I think that getting that 50% CR push is kind of big, because you're almost instantly going to get another turn, depending if you build him fast, right? So I think it really opens up some other builds potentially. Maybe now we can officially build him on counter, now that he pushes not only the caster but himself with CR. So that could be kind of interesting. And no matter what, unless they 2-turn debuff you, you're probably going to get your S3 off. So I think that's kind of interesting. Ada 5-star. So I don't, I tried to play around with building Ada, but her kit was just really bad. So it looks like she's actually decreasing defense for 1 turn. She has up to a 75 chance to decrease defense. Before, it used to be unhealable, which unhealable is like, whatever. Now, Cold Snap attacks all enemies with an explosion of ice, dispelling 2 buffs. So she strips 2 buffs instead of 1, before decreasing combat readiness by a random amount between 15 and 40%. That's kind of insane. That's a huge difference from 15 to 40%. That's pretty big. And then she gets skill nullifier. So it's giving her survivability, giving her way more RNG on the way that your units are going to be spread out. Her soul burn now grants her an extra turn instead of what it did before. It just reduced the cooldown. So you're able to go with, I think her S2 is Cold Snap. So you soul burn with S2, strip 2 buffs, push everybody back all over the place, get skill nullifier, and then decrease defense either with the S1 or go with the S3. Now the S3 attacks all enemies with up to a 85% chance to stun for 1 turn, and it increases all combat readiness of the allies by 20%. So it CR pushes everybody. When an ally uses a non-attack skill and this skill is available, increases combat readiness of the caster by 20%. So if you go with someone on your team, so you go with her, right? Someone on your team uses a non-attack skill, she gets a CR push by 20% just by existing. That's it sounds kind of insane, but I don't know if I would still use her. I think her kit was before definitely loaded, but it was difficult to make her work because she needed to crit, right? She needed to crit. Now she doesn't need to crit, so you don't have to build her full damage. You could potentially just build her like full effectiveness and play around with people's combat readiness, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Yufine, I don't know. I don't agree with this one because I think there are plenty of other units that could have gotten buffs other than Yufine, right? I was really expecting to see Judge KISE in one of these because she is getting an RTA skin. She's not gonna get the Mystic rotation. I really thought she was gonna get a Mystic rotation coming up, but we got Yufine. Everything about her is kind of the same. I mean, she got slight buffs, but I don't think it's gonna make her broken or anything like that. Now, after Dragon Charge hits the enemy with a finishing blow, dispelling all buffs and stunning for 1 turn, it also increases the effectiveness for 2 turns of her. It got a -1 turn cooldown. Soulburn, before it used to grant an extra turn, now it just extends the duration of the buffs granted by this skill. I don't know if that's a nerf because now you can't go S3 into S2, right? I mean, Dragon Charge Awaken now hits the enemy with a finishing blow, dispelling all buffs and stunning for 1 turn. Damage dealt is increased by 50% when the enemy is buffed. Increases effectiveness of the caster for 2 turns. Yeah, I mean, even though Yufine is capable of inflicting much damage and a variety of effects, players were not able to use her core skill Dragon Charge as often as needed. I guess they're just trying to have a cycle faster through that, but why not just leave the extra turn in there? I don't know. If you know why they did this, let me know in the comment section below. Moonlight Force, our hero, BBK. So BBK here looks kind of cracked, kind of broken. Okay, so let's take a look. So Sequential Cutter quickly strikes the enemy with a sword, recovering health proportional to the damage. So this is her S1. Before, caster's combat readiness increases by 50% when the enemy is defeated. So when she kills, she gets a 50% CR push. Now it increases her combat readiness by 15% when the enemy is defeated and increases combat readiness of the caster by an additional 35%. So base, she's always getting 15% CR push every time that she goes with her S1. And then when someone is defeated, she gets an additional 35%, which I think is kind of nice. Now they're giving her that ability to cycle fast and put a lot more pressure on the enemy team. Cursed Sword, as health decreases, attack, defense, and speed increase. So what they did is at the start of the turn, they gave her immortality. It's just a part of her passive. It's kind of like a reverse Karin, right? So if she gets destroyed turn 1, right? If they focus her down, like you LQC her, it's going to be a bad time for you, right? Because she scales off of health lost. So you really don't want to do anything to her first turn, unless you want like debuff her. Maybe you can strip the immortality, stun her, or something like that. Blade Art Dragon. This is the AoE, the S3, attacks all enemies, sacrificing 20% of the caster's health. Now it increases the attack of the caster for 2 turns. So she gives herself an attack buff. She reduces her health by 20%, gives herself attack buff, and this skill cannot trigger a counter attack. So I don't, because it's an S3, right? So I think that's fine. Yeah. 2 turn attack buff on the S3 of BBK. So you don't need a setup anymore. I'm going to keep saying it, but every time they give them buffs to the S1, I think, I know people already were building counter BBK that was dealing insane amounts of damage. So I think this could make her even more feasible. The only thing is you really can't take advantage of that immortality if you build her that way. But I mean, I guess if you bring her into heavy AoE, like 0 speed, and she's going to have immortality, so she can't die turn 1, but she can get debuffed, right? She can get debuffed. So it's something interesting. 3-star hero, Covenant, Zealot Carmainerose. You know, I did her SC, but I never really used her, right? I couldn't find a place. To me, she seems more like a hunt unit, right? So after using Vampirism, has a 100% chance to increase combat readiness of the caster by 5%. So before, it increases effectiveness by 20% when the target is an elemental hero. Okay, so what they're doing is they're kind of pushing her to kind of less hunts, right? And more everywhere kind of unit, maybe even PvP now. She has a 60% chance to inflict unhealable for 1 turn when attacking the target with Vampirism. Wedge Rune, when the caster's health is 50% or more when using Spiteful Annihilation, has a 100% chance to increase effectiveness of the caster for 2 turns. Trust Rune, so they're kind of increasing the runes, I guess. Runes will be adjusted. Yeah, okay, so that kind of makes sense. Because before, the target had to be an Earth Elemental hero. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I guess we'll see. Maybe she'll be a little bit more useful now in other areas, now that she can apply her skills and has a better shot at dealing with other types of units except for just Earth units. I think that's fine. You know, these 2 artifacts here, Black Hand of the Goddess and Shepherd of Chaos, I'm still thinking, you know, why not buff like really bad artifacts? You know, Black Hand of the Goddess, I still like this artifact. I think you need to have fully limit broken in order to make use out of. But again, here the original effect decrease was 2.4% every time the caster attacks. So the caster's critical hit chance and crit damage increased by 24% at the start of the turn, and then every time that they attack, it goes down. So what they're doing now is actually decreasing the amount that it goes down. So instead of 2.4% every time they attack, it's 1.2% after the attack, and it only goes down to 18% crit and crit damage instead of the 12% crit and crit damage. So I guess they're giving you more of an opportunity to have that crit and crit damage buff, which, I mean, I think it's fine, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna break anyone unless you have this fully limit broken, and then, you know, potentially. 4-star artifact, Shepherd of the Chaos, adds health decreases evasion and defense increased by up to 40%. Now it's increasing defense by 10%. You know, and I know I like back in the day when Shepherd of Chaos first came out, BBK, people were running this with BBK because it gives her evasion, defense. So it goes exactly with her, right? She's losing HP, she's gaining more evasion, makes her harder to kill, more defense, and you know, it's a good time for the BBK, not for the opposing player, but for BBK, yes. But that's pretty much it. You know, I'm really surprised Judge KISE is not on here. You know, no other units that I think really deserve some buffs. You know, let me know in the comment section who you were expecting to see on this buff list. You know, Mediator Kawerik, I think, is fine. It's been, you know, it's been a couple of months since he came out, but I don't know. I'm not convinced by his buffs. We got to try him out, I guess. But, you know, I think he's still missing something. I think that the S2 should have been an AoE S2 instead of a single target. But, you know, because it's giving allies barriers. It's decreasing attack. I think it should decrease everybody's attack, right? Like just AoE everybody. I mean, because it's not that big. He doesn't do that much damage anyway, but he's supposed to be like a support warrior. He's not dealing damage. He's still kind of supporting with the immunity. Now he's getting CR push and stuff. But yeah, I think maybe that would have made him a bit more solid. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's going to be it for me. Like always, if you happen to enjoy the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.